Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today we're going to be talking a bit about F-Zero. A little bit late on this one, but basically, recently F-Zero has been coming up again in the news. I believe somebody commented on it saying, it was either they don't know what to do with it, or it was like, it was something to do with about wanting a new game or something like that. I can't remember the article, if I'm honest, but for me, it's a franchise that I've been wanting to see come back for a while, as has quite a few people. And I think Nintendo looks at it and it probably doesn't make a huge amount of money, and it also probably they don't know what to do with it. It seems to be the thing that comes up a lot. Nintendo seems to want to always add in new mechanics, gimmicks, things like that into a lot of their games, and F-Zero is one of those things that doesn't really need it. It's not to say that you couldn't change things up, but it's just one of those games. It's kind of it's a very fast-paced racing game, one of the fastest racing games out there. Designed the idea of being on these using magnets and gravity and spinning around like loops and tubes and stuff, and going in crazy speeds and trying not to fall off the track. Like it's a really good game. And like GX, which was the last one to come out, is like one of the best racing games I've ever played. Like in that style of like very fast racing games, and the track design's really good. The game is hard as nails, but it's like still a lot of fun. But the thing is, at the moment, is we're seeing the Switch sell incredibly well. We're seeing games come out on the Switch doing way better than people were thinking they were going to do. Some of if you look at this top 10, you've got like Smash, Mario Kart, Animal Crossing, and Zelda, and Mario Odyssey up there, all hitting massive numbers. And then even when you look at the smaller stuff, they're hitting like 5 million, 4 million, and I feel like Nintendo's smaller franchises that aren't known for doing a lot of sales or whatever, they can easily come out and hit a cool couple of million, I think. Quite easily, because people love the quality of Nintendo's like first party stuff. I mean, say what you want about Nintendo, like they can be very backwards sometimes, but generally when they release a first party game based on one of their own franchises, the quality's there. And I think what Nintendo needs to do at the moment with F-Zero is to make a remake or do an HD remaster of F-Zero GX from the GameCube. They need to put that out at a reasonable price. It can't be at 60 quid, 50 quid in this country. It needs to be a slightly more budget-y price, sort of 40 pound. And they put it out with a really nice remaster, if they're not going to remake it. Better visuals, and add all the AX arcade content into it, which it already had if you had the codes, and put that out there. See how people react to that game, because that's considered like one of like quintessential GameCube games. I know it maybe didn't sell that well, but it was a really, really solid game in the franchise. I mean, that's like probably, in my opinion, it's the best F-Zero game. Other people can agree or disagree on that, but like the quality was there, and I think if you do that, you can, in this day and age, you can gauge if people are interested. If you make an F-Zero GX HD remaster and it goes on to sell 2 or 3 million copies, like that's crazy, and that goes to show the power of the Switch. The power of the Switch is essentially these franchises that may not have necessarily had big success or these massive sales are now hitting bigger numbers. Now, I don't think anyone expected Animal Crossing to get up to the crazy amounts of like 20-something million sales that it has. That's crazy numbers. And obviously F-Zero is not going to do that. I don't think that the market's there, because it's a solid, as hard as nails game. But I think having that kind of approach, being like, okay, what do we do with this franchise? Well, let's start with a game that we know, that already did decently, people like, and bring back GX, slap it on there. Maybe stick in, if you want to add in content, stick in an easy mode for those people that don't want to play the story and stuff on hard, right? Just have another difficulty setting, because I'll be honest, that game is hard, and it's really hard. The story itself is difficult, and the gameplay in the Grand Prix can be, right? There you go, bonus bit of content. It's nicer visuals, and now if you want to see the story and stuff, there's a much easier mode for those people that want to. Cool. Like, I'll buy that. Like, having the game look nice. The game already looks really nice anyway for its age. And then you take that data and you go, hey, well, look, we've made 2-3 million out of this. What if we make a new one? Can we hit these same numbers? And this is the problem. Nintendo has franchises that they're sat on that are good franchises that have made money, and the Switch could potentially make, you know, a new game in those series could potentially sell insane amounts of numbers. I know partly is, you know, they've got Mario Kart 8, and that game is done incredibly well, and they're like, do we want another racing game? But Mario Kart 8 and F-Zero couldn't be further from, like, racing games. Like, one is much more party fun, you know, nowhere near as fast, versus F-Zero, which is blazingly fast speeds, like doing loop-to-loops and all kinds of crazy things. And it's just something that, like, it frustrates me. It frustrates me that Nintendo doesn't want to, you know, approach these franchises. You know, in the recent times, they've made more newer IPs. They've made Splatoon and ARMS, and say what you want about ARMS, but ARMS is, like, fantastic. It's a brilliantly cool-looking game. It sold better than I think anyone expected, and, like, people are like, oh, they'll never do another one. I'm like, I don't know, they might do. But ARMS is something, you know, it's like, I like it when Nintendo puts time and effort into not the big franchises. Like, they can put out a Mario, they can put out a Zelda or an Animal Crossing, a Kirby game, and it's gonna sell well. Like, they just do. But because we're seeing the Switch do as well as it's done, it seems to be elevating a lot of sales for a lot of these games, and this is why I'm like, F-Zero, you've got Metroid Prime 4 coming out, right? Metroid Prime 4 could potentially be the best-selling Metroid game of all time if the marketing's right, and, you know, they just go boom, and it's high quality, because it's going to make and break a lot of the Metroid Prime series, I think, on Metroid Prime 4. There's a lot of pressure on this game, which is unfortunate, but there is a lot of pressure on this game to be as amazing as people want it to be. But we're going to see, hopefully, that because of the Switch, like, this Metroid game might come out and sell 4 million copies, 5 million copies. I can't imagine it selling much more than that, but 5 million copies for a Metroid Prime, that's insane numbers, right? That's awesome. You know, that's the kind of number, that's what I'm thinking that game had the potential to do. Hit those high numbers. You bring out a Metroid Prime, say they show it off this year and they bring it out, you know, this time next year, like in March or something, I reckon they could easily sell, like, easily make 1 million copies in the first week of that game, like, without doubt. And the same goes with F-Zero. I think, like, if they bring out a new F-Zero or even a HD remaster of GX, I think they could easily sell 1 million copies, like, quick, because I think that's the power of the Switch and the power of people wanting these quality first-party games. It's mad to me that they haven't tried some of these things. And I guess, you know, not to go too off topic, but Advance Wars is a personal favourite of mine, and I would love to see those games get a nice, you know, either remakes or bundles and stuff of them onto the Switch, because it's a perfect console to play them on. I obviously want a new game in the series, but it's another franchise where they kind of go, we'll make a new Fire Emblem. It's like, no, just do Advance Wars. And it is a frustrating thing with Nintendo where you're just like, I just want to play these franchises, but I want new versions of these games in, you know, on Switch. And I do really hope that they, you know, this year, next year, and the year after, like, we're really going to start seeing some of these other franchises get a shot on the Switch, because I really do think the Switch will happily propel these games forward and to make decent sales. You know, they're not going to make Mario numbers, they're not going to be hitting like 10-20 million, I don't think, but hit like 3 to 5 million, I think it goes to show that people want those type of games. And, you know, Nintendo has a very, very strong library of first-party games. And as much as I love Mario and Zelda, these other games that don't get as much love, sometimes it's nice to get that stuff as well. You know, we're same with the Mario sports titles at the moment, right? We see they're slowly coming back, which is good. We've had a tennis game, we've got a golf game. People love those games. I love them because they're fun. It's like, just stop focusing on the really big sellers and just have a team work on some of the smaller stuff that people still want. There is still a market there for it. So, yeah, this is what I want. I want Nintendo to go, hey, here's F-Zero GX remastered. See how it goes. Here's a new game, and hopefully that will. I want that to become. I want that to become fruition. But we shall see. we shall see. It's you know, it's, I think being an F-Zero fan at the moment is a very, very frustrating thing, honestly. But hopefully, we will get new games in the franchise or ports of stuff, just anything onto the Switch. You know, at this point. Anyway, that's going to do it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching, as always. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you want to see more content like this, then hit subscribe. Links will be down the bottom in the description section for Facebook and Twitter if you want to get involved over there. And until next video, I will see you then.